I never expected this. Iman Vellani is going to be writing a Marvel comic of Ms. Marvel. The closest thing that ever happened like this was in Runaways. I think the dad drew the comic cover of a comic once upon a time 3, 4 years ago. We've had writers like Cody Ziegler who worked on She-Hulk, Zeb Wells, who've done Marvel comics. Even the guy who's co-writing with Iman Vellani, he had like two comics during the dark web of Ms. Marvel. This is a full-on actor. Hey, I got this idea. Trust me, it'll work. And I like it. I like who it is. I'm interested. There's this new writer who's actually a fan. Is she gonna have chops? Is she gonna overperform? I'm rooting for this girl from Markham. Let's read the comic book article from Entertainment Weekly. They had the exclusive. Reports of Kamala Khan's death have been greatly exaggerated. The superhero known as Ms. Marvel. Oh, side note. In the show, they called her Miss Marvel, like if there was an I and two S's there. The word is fucking pronounced Ms. Marvel. It's like a pronoun that signifies that the woman, maybe she could be married, maybe she's not married. Because Mrs. means you're married, Miss means you're not married. When we say Ms., it's like ambiguous. Ms. Marvel is her name. Oh, valiantly sacrificed her life to save the universe earlier this year in ASM 26. Yeah, she's already back earlier this year. And it was celebrated by her friends, her family, and fallen friends. Death of Ms. Marvel. You can watch me talk about that and how irrelevant it is. I literally recorded that. That was on Wednesday. It is now Friday. And 2 days later, like I said, all that sobbing and moping. Look, the comic, I didn't even put it away. It's still here. All that moping that they did in this comic book. Irrelevant. It's being undone. I am still interested in how it's being undone. It's kinda, bro. It's the shot in the arm, the spark that this character needs. It's something interesting, not the mutant part, the Iman Vellani part. Because what do we complain about as fans? Oh, they're just doing this because of the movies, and we know the movies. She is a movie person. She is literally the most powerful person. Kevin Feige, most powerful person representing the brand of Ms. Marvel. Maybe even more than Kevin Feige, I'll give her, because she knows the difference between 616 and 199999. This is really interesting to me. If you're white, imagine Chris Hemsworth writing Thor. That was a shot at white people. I apologize, but if you know that's how major this is. That's how extreme that this casting or hiring is. Where can this go? What is her idea? Is it like every other Marvel comics where, like, the editor kind of tells the writers, go write this thing, figure it out? Or does she have free will and free reign? But as we all know, death is rarely... Oh yeah, we all know that for sure. Iman Vellani, the actor who plays Kamala in the MCU, will co-write the new comic alongside Ms. Marvel TV writer Sabir Pirzada. I did not enjoy his 2-issue comic. It was... I don't know, and it didn't even matter. Carlos Gomez and Adam Gorham will handle the arts, and Sarah Pichelli will provide the main covers. So these artists, Carlos Gomez and Adam Gorham, I am not familiar with their work. I know enough about Marvel Comics to tell you, they really they broke the budget to get this artist. They didn't. It doesn't mean the artwork is bad. I am just trying to point out to you that this is like, we'll give the guys an opportunity kind of thing. The main draw of this comic is Iman Vellani. More so than Kamala changing into a mutant, which is part of the canon now. She says, this is way scarier than joining the MCU for me. True fans would say that. Those projects feel like they live in their own dimension, so I guess I can separate myself easier. But you can hold a comic book. I've never written anything before in my entire life, but I have read many comics. She sounds just like me. So I just wrote what I would want to read. Fam, how could you ask for anything more? That's how the Fantastic Four started. Stan Lee said the same thing. This is what I want, a comic that goes this way. Likewise, when he started Spider-Man, he was like, Amazing Spider-Man 15, Amazing Fantasy 15 is the final issue of Amazing Fantasy. I'm going to put this little Spider-Man story in there. Steve, and then Ditko draws the art phenomenally. And what we have is Spider-Man. It took off and people liked it because people would write letters back then, which is a conversation on its own. Like the value of a letter being written in, you must really care to do that, She's gonna write what she wants to see. I like that she's gonna write what she wants to see. She's just the perfect person. Hickman would be the perfect person, honestly, but she's the second perfect person. I was given a very professional tool to write what is essentially my own fan fiction. In a nod to the big revelation for the finale, the new comic will be titled Ms. Marvel, The New Mutant. Okay, I don't care for the mutant stuff. I have checked out as an X-Men fan, as you guys know. You can see my prior videos on how often I would talk about their comics. And the Hickman stuff and the, oh my god, the Moira McTaggart stuff, which Hickman does admit in an interview from like a month ago. He and Grant Morrison were doing a talk with Agent M, Ryan Pangos. Hickman does admit that the Moira McTaggart flip wasn't part of any plans of his, and he says it jokingly. Yeah, it's kind of why I checked out. I can see that this isn't a story anymore. This is just a, yeah, just throw things at the wall, see what sticks. Which is exactly what this is. Ms. Marvel becoming a mutant. We'll just see what happens. So like her on-screen counterpart, the comic version of Kamala is officially a mutant now. Captain America was resurrected in AXE Judgment Day. He didn't become a mutant, did he? Why is she a mutant? I'm almost going to say it doesn't make sense. This is a comic book fantasy genre. Nothing makes sense if you think about it. I can say it's inconsistent with the past. I can say that. So that's also the explanation for why she's coming back so soon, because modern Marvel readers know the X-Men have mastered resurrection. When Kamala was created a decade ago, yada yada yada. Mutants replace her Inhumans. Instead, it gives Marvel's first major Muslim superhero a whole new identity to reckon with, given the historical animosity between mutants and Inhumans. I did read that comic, and I read the House of M right afterwards when Quicksilver was okay by the Terrigen Mist. It didn't kill him. I want to make it very, very clear that we are not retconning her Inhuman origin. That's a part of Kamala's identity that Marvel Editorial and myself would very much like to keep and protect. That sounds interesting to me. Well, she'll still be an Inhuman? Do they mean we're not going to retcon, meaning like when they retcon, usually it just means ignore the 75 issues you just read prior talking about the Inhuman gene and Terrigen Mist? If that's what she means, yeah, of course you're not going to ignore it. I get it. You don't need to rest me assured. To be very, very clear that we're not going to retcon. It's just the flop, which is off-putting to me. It's the switch over just to copy the mutants direction in the TV show, just because Kevin Feige had a beef with Jeff Loeb, just because Inhumans was a TV show on ABC that he wasn't in charge of. It's really petty reason for why this is happening. When you ask questions and you go back to like the onset of this decision where Kamala is going to be a mutant, it's got everything to do with Ike Perlmutter and his dislike of the mutants. He didn't like that Fox had mutants and he had his own philosophy. It's got to do with Sana Amanat, who wanted her to be a mutant at first. If you go back, it's like it's really stupid. It's got nothing to do with the comic stuff. But hey, now it's in the comics. Does this make Kamala better? She was on life support. Her comic died on issue 75 2 years ago. Hasn't had a regular ongoing since. Even before that, when she was having an ongoing, it's not like she really mattered. Whenever we read those big events, no one ever said, okay, Captain America, you do that. Black Panther, you there. Storm, take care of this. And Kamala, we need you here at headquarters, and your job is really important. You're going to transform your face into... That never happened. She was never relevant. That relevant. Okay. Our book will absolutely reflect all those core themes of identity that the Ms. Marvel comics have consistently explored, and now there's a whole new label that Kamala has to learn to accept. It's going to be pretty crazy. They're going to do the thing where they open the fridge and all the food is cultural. They're going to like see the butter chicken and the samosa and all that. I know I've that's what it means. Identity, culture. That's the quickest way in a comic book to showcase that, is showcase the food. Okay. My computer's acting funny. Might I need to hit refresh? Okay, given the historical animosity between... No, I'm not there. I'm here now. Our book will absolutely reflect all those core themes of identity. I read that. It's going to be pretty crazy. Vellani continues, hopefully those readers who are kind of getting into the comics after the Disney Plus show, valid. Now, you don't have a Twitter account, Iman, but the Ms. Marvel account may be able to advertise this. Do some interviews. Do the effing work, Iman Vellani. Do cons? Can you? Yeah, you can. I think it's a comic. It's not a actors guild or thing. Do the promotion for this. that no one does. Comic books haven't been promoted properly. We don't see commercials for them or advertisements or anything. They're terrible at advertising. You being the celebrity that you are, go on YouTube, go talk to Eric Voss again, go communicate with just Comics Explained. He's not gonna say no to interviewing you. Go do the media run. That guy has 1 million followers, subscribers. He's gonna attract some new people. Just the curiosity factor of, oh, the actor who plays the character is gonna write the character is significant, and you can take advantage of it. Go talk to Sal and Tiffany. Go talk to Cape to Joel. Speak to these YouTube media people, and don't be the young generational person that you are, and realize where the money resides. There's TikTokers who I don't know much about, Twitch streamers who may be interested in this. Go find that audience. Do it for you, because this ultimately does help your character. If your comic succeeds right here and it attracts Ms. Marvel readers, and all of a sudden the reader base is like not at 10,000 sales a month, and it's somewhere like 40,000, somewhere high up there where Daredevil and Avengers, and look at those high comic sales. If you can get that popping, all of a sudden it's not with respect to the artist who they named. It's gonna be Ed McGuinness drawing the Ms. Marvel comic, who's currently doing Spider-Man. So I'm talking to Iman Vellani like she watches this. Who knows? Just go all out. Go hard. You know what sucks? Your ethnicity is going to restrict the castings that you're going to get. Ask the Aladdin actor who's from like Mississauga. Mina Masood. What's he been in since? His movie made $1 billion. There's only 53 movies in the history of the world to ever gross $1 billion. He's the lead of that. Doesn't have acting roles lined up. You would think that he did, right? Why? Because he just doesn't fit the description for castings like that. You're the same way. What you can do is dedicate yourself to this and push and hard and go on CBC and the places that will have you go. Talk about the strike, talk about stuff, and then also mention you got a comic. You have nothing better to do. And as far as like work related to the diversity initiatives and stuff, your bosses don't care about that. You being cast and you being the head writer of this comic, co-writing it, is proof of that. They don't care. If they care, they put Jason Aaron on it. Be the warrior. Be like, fight this battle. Push for diversity. Go all out. I don't know what you do on your day-to-days, man. If you ever watch this, but go all out. Disney Plus shows are going to have something fun to look forward to on shelves. And here's some artwork that we gotta, I guess, talk about this. Beautiful. See, she's got like a light as she's swiping. Is that movement? Or is that her light power, hard lights that they had on the show? And then we have Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant. That's Stanley R. Germ. Yeah, look at the head, the top cover artist for this. I do like the new getup that she has. That is very distinctive there. The lightning bolts. Very X-Men-y, right? They even got the X logo there. I like it. Even the shoes she leaves a footprint. That's unique too. We got the X's. That is very reminiscent to that comic book character who I've created. I've co-created, I guess the artist technically created. And I'll show you now. It's on my phone. And the X and the yellowness of that is just like this. Yeah, just like that. That's crazy. Like on the neck. That is the little hand X thing. I had it first though. For my character, who I'm going to be creating. Look out for that one day. Not this year. Not even next year. I'm going to take some time to cook and world build. But it'll be released one day and you'll hear all about it on my YouTube channel when it does happen. That's crazy how the yellow thing kind of matches the neckline there. The new series also features a redesigned costume for Kamala, which highlights her newfound mutant identity. That's right, it sure does. Ms. Marvel lightning bolt that dates back to the Carol Danvers that does, like Kamala's original. Thanks to James McKelvey for designing that. Vellani says she's such a big fan. It was actually a very humbling experience to work with you, man, because she knows her comics even better than I do. That is phenomenal to hear. And that is saying something. Paradza says, she was throwing out references to specific comics that came out before either of us were born. Salute to her. She was a very great eye for what makes for a good sequence on the page as drawn by an artist. It was very impressive to me to see her throw out all these references to different artists that she's been following through the years. Salute to her. She man, every time me and you can ask Mike Rogue Comics, every time we talk about her or something about her fandom comes up, we like we glee. Like we this should be the president of Marvel, and there's no reason why she won't be in 30 years. Oh my god, I love it. You can do anything with those stretchy powers. Her powers stay stretchy. Good. Remember when fans were like, well, Mr. Fantastic's coming. Like that mattered. Like there's not two people who can heal from Canada who are going to be in a movie next year. Like they're not filming that right now, right? Like people can't double up on powers, no? Captain America and Black Panther, basically the same thing. We had speedsters like Makari, speedsters like Quicksilver. Remember when people were saying, well, they've got to change her powers? Like, why are you guys trying to defend this stupid decision for Marvel by giving her hard light? She says, I like to make it a little vague enough for the artist to surprise me when I get the sketches back, and they always do. I actually don't do that. Well, when I communicate with my artists, it's very, what's the word? A lot of descriptions, not vague. Now, I don't care if an artist takes it differently. Like that's by all means. I'm not the artist, but still, I'm very descriptive. It's honestly so liberating to be able to pitch ideas and everything gets accepted because they can just draw it. There's no need to worry about budgets or effects. It's so awesome to be able to contribute to the Marvel official canon. Good news. Are you purchasing this book? Are you a new reader who's just like, what the? Let me read this video or let me watch this Chillmonger guy talk about this? Are you a new kind of TV guy who goes, actually, in 3 months, I'm going to go down to my local comic shop. I'm going to Google it, figure it out, and buy this first issue. You going to do that? Is this it? You going to wait for the trade paperback, which was going to collect all 5 of this limited series? Or 4 or 3 or however long? I think this is going to create fans. I think it's bizarre to kill a character knowing like, well, okay, they're going to come back, right? But the fallout and the aftermath of it, her being a comic writer for Ms. Marvel is perfect. What a creative idea. I didn't even think this was in the realm of possibilities. It's a tactic that's so out of the box. I can't overstate how like magnificent this is. I'm surprised the company that has been turning me off for all this time did something like this. Technically, the comics can still suck. They can be terrible. They could also be epic, and we don't know that. Just sales wise, it doesn't matter. The first time you read a comic book, are you really going to say, oh, this stunk? Or are you going to be wowed by the experience of flipping the pages and seeing, oh, look, now I got, put it here. Look at the flip of the page. I went from here, where on this page they were all talking and stuff, and then, oh, there's Ms. there's Carol Danvers. The red dagger's on the page too. And you're going to be surprised with how her hair and her head goes into the other panel. Almost like it's too big to be contained. And you're like, oh, what a cool experience. And there's a touching hug. And you're, page by page by page, you're going to be experiencing a comic for the first time. And this brand of storytelling for the first time, you're a fan of comics. You know what that feels like. Great news, bro. Great news. If you enjoyed this 19-minute video, you know what to do. The YouTube things. If you didn't enjoy it, if you hate the Muslims, and you think Iman Vellani's taking our jobs, then shit, I agree, bro. I agree. There's too many of them, bro. Gotta do something about that. I'm with you.